Welcome to another Pantheon 5 run. This time I will read lore for every boss. Hope you enjoy and survive my English accent. Vengefly kings are territorial patriarchs of Vengeflies and are native to Greenpath. One can be encountered above the roads of Greenpath, hanging on the ceiling and chewing on Zote. Harming it prompts it to release Zote and fight the knight. Upon defeat, the infection bursts out of it and makes it explode. Neglecting to help Zote results instead in the Vengefly King eating him before disappearing. Gru's mother can be found blocking the direct path to an abandoned village at the bottom of the Forgotten Crossroads. She is sleeping, exhausted from carrying her children, and wakes up when struck. Upon defeat, her stomach bursts open to reveal a swarm of Gruzzers. False Knight is a maggot wearing the armor of Hegemol, one of the 5 great knights of Hallownest. This weak creature wanted to find means to protect his siblings, who live in an abandoned storeroom in the middle of the Forgotten Crossroads. When he discovered Hegemol sleeping in his armored shell, he took it for himself, hoping for the great strength that wearing the armor seemed to promise. The massive moss charger can be found below a ruined structure just off the Pilgrim's Way before leaving Greenpath for the Fog Canyon. It first appears as a large bush but starts shaking as the knight approaches and eventually roars before giving chase. Once defeated, it is revealed to be a group of moss chargers, which scurry away and crawl underground. Hornet Protector is the first form of Hornet as a boss in Hollow Knight. She confronts the knight in Greenpath to impede the quest, but underestimates her opponent and does not deploy her third strength. Gorb, the Great Mind, was a mystic creature with a distended brain who claimed to be all-knowing. They goaded others to revere their minds and ascend with them to a different plane of existence. Their remains were buried on a hill atop the Howling Cliffs, with a tombstone carved in their image. The Dung Defender used to be known as Ogrim, the most loyal of the 5 great knights of Hallownest. As such, he participated in many battles and adventures. He was also equally renowned for his bad scent, although that didn't keep him from enjoying the company of the White Lady and his fellow knights. He was particularly fond of the knight Isma. Soul Warriors are scholars who enhance their combat abilities with Stolen Soul. Unlike the other scholars in the Sanctum, they seem to have a very hazy grasp of their own memories and the origins of their powers. One lone brooding Molech can be found off-road in the Forgotten Crossroads, far from its living brethren in the ancient Basin. It sits amidst fossilized remains of its kind and calls for them to breed. This wild beast was driven mad both by its loneliness and the infection which started covering its body with bulbs. It attacks the knight as soon as they enter the room by jumping from the background. On defeat, the infection bursts out, making it explode. Oro and Mato. Oro learned the nail arts from the great nail sage Sly along with his brothers Mato and Shio. One of the three disciples, he was not the most skilled, with his signature move being the dash slash. While Oro is respectful of the nail sage's teaching, he was reluctant to obey them to the letter. Mato learned the nail arts from the great nail sage Sly, along with his brothers Oro and Shio. He was not the most skilled disciple of the three, his favorite move being the Cyclone Slash. Yet he had a passion for teaching and hoped to perpetuate the nail sage knowledge to the next generation of nail masters. His devotion to the nail arts made him very close to his brother Shio, the most talented. Zero was a warrior of Hallownest who believed that strength would always allow him a bright future. When his mind was infected, he hoped to fight against the plague with violence. Fueled by the same hope, he turned against the Pale King, for which he was executed. Zero was buried in the resting grounds, his tomb a reminder to any who would betray the king. The Crystal Guardian is a part of the miners of Crystal Peak, who died from the infection and were reanimated by it. It appears larger than the other husks, has crystals growing on its back, and encasing both its arm and its head. Also has more mastery over the crystal's light than the crystallized husk. Soulmaster is the leader of the Soul Sanctum of Hallownest, which search for ways to expand the minds of bugs and attain pure focus. When the infection started, he came to the conclusion that Soul, the energy animating bugs and beasts alike, was the solution to cure the minds of this plague. He refused to listen to the Pale King, opposing his work, and failed to realize that his own infected mind was influencing him. The Oblobbles are larger relatives of the Obol and are able to move faster and fire more projectiles per attack. The knight can encounter a pair of them in the Colosseum of Fools during the Trial of the Conqueror. These Oblobbles are raised and trained within the Colosseum to take part in the fight against gladiators. Killing one enranges the other and makes it move attack faster. The Mantis Lords are three sisters who lead the Mantis tribe deep within the fungal wastes. They managed to resist the infection throughout Hallownest, despite the exile of their brother and his followers who chose to accept the infection willingly. Marmu was the innocent-minded yet strong protector of the Queen's gardens. The Queen promised to teach her how to fly upon her return to the Verdant Retreat. Marmu passed away before that day, and a totem in her memory was placed upon her grave in the garden's wilds. Flukmam is the mother of all flukes infesting the royal waterways. Her body is used as a nest for young fluke flies. Like her children, she was infected and made hostile, although her condition as a breeder prevents her from leaving her cave. Broken Vessel is one of the many vessels who escaped the abyss like the knight, but unlike the knight was met with a tragic death while still in Hallowness. Its corpse was forgotten in a windy cave deep within the ancient basin before the monarch wings where the infection had spread. Galleon was a brave and undefeated warrior who claimed to be the strongest in Hallownest and desired to prove his valor to the Pale King as a knight. He traveled to Deepnest in order to test his strength, but eventually found death instead. His husk lies in a cave filled with unusually large glowing mushrooms and a lifeblood cocoon below the failed tramway. Shio learned the nail arts from the great nail sage Sly, along with his brothers Oro and Mato. Despite his aloof and kind demeanor, he was the most skilled disciple, driven slowly by his desire for strength and the mastering of his skills. Yet this passion faded over time, as he desired to explore new forms of arts that could move him. He still had a good relationship with both of his quarreling brothers and had respect for his master. Hive Knight is the most valiant and skilled knight of the Hive. He is flightless and bound to protect Hive Queen Vespa by the bee's hive mind. Although the infection spread to the hive after the queen died, Hive Knight still protects her, hoping she will one day wake up and revive the hive. Elder Hu was a traveling sage who sought to purify the borderlands of Hallownest from the infection. He reached the Mantis village, but his own infected mind made him see the Mantis lords in the tribe as afflicted by the plague. The Mantises killed him after he attacked them. A memorial was erected in his name above the gates to the City of Tears. The Collector is a void creature. It lives hidden away in the locked Tower of Love, along with a large collection of bugs from throughout Hallownest that are preserved, both dead and alive, in glass jars. God Tamer is a veteran warrior of the Colosseum of Fools, taking the mantle of boss of the last and most brutal trial. She compensates for her small stature with the strength of her tamed beast, alongside which she fights. Grim is the master of the Green Troop, a mysterious traveling circus. In truth, Grim and his troop travel from the Nightmare Realm to wherever the Nightmare Lantern has been lit by acolytes. They gather nightmare flames from ruined lands to fuel the sinister being enslaving the troop, the Nightmare's heart. The Watcher Knights used to defend the entrance to the Watcher's Spire and Lurian's dormant body. They eventually died while standing guard, leaving their shells behind. When the knight tries to reach the end of the Watcher Knight's room, the gates close by themselves. The swarm of infected flies hovering above them then start entering the husks one after another. In doing so, they reanimate the Watcher Knights to defend Lurian's seal. Umu is an intelligent yet infected being, similar to the Umus and Umas infecting Fog Canyon. It defends Monomon's chamber at the heart of the Teacher's archive. Nosk is a mysterious shape-shifting infected beast hunting throughout Deepnest. It can mimic the shape of faces it finds in the memories of bugs, usually loved or departed ones, and can confront its body to assume a smaller frame. It hangs its prey, including dirt carvers, a stalking devour, and various vessels from the ceiling of its lair at the bottom of Deep Nest. Lai used to be the great nail sage. During his previous occupation, he trained some disciples in the nail arts, Oro, Mato, and Shio. Eventually, Sly abandoned his occupation as nail sage. He became convinced of the strength of accumulating geo over honing one's nails. He thus turned to the simple life of a merchant, finding and selling wares from his shop in Dirtmouth. Hornet Sentinel is the second form of Hornet as a boss in Hollow Knight. She challenges the knight at the entrance to the cast-off shell in Kingdom's Edge to test their resolve and strength in saving Hello Nest. The Enraged Guardian is the second form of the Crystal Guardian. It is faster and tougher than its original form and deals twice the amount of damage with its attacks. Lost Kin is the dream variant of the Broken Vessel, faster and tougher than its physical counterpart. Knowise was a warrior of Hello Nest who fell to the infection. She could not sleep knowing the dreams would infect her mind with the light. To protect herself and the other bugs, she stripped out both their eyes and her own before succumbing. She was laid to rest in the Stone Sanctuary, a place in complete darkness. A carved statue was placed upon her grave. The The Traitor Lord was one of the leaders of the Mantis tribe along with his sisters and particularly resented the Kingdom of Helonest. Similarly, he disapproved of the relationship of his daughter with the Grey Mourner due to the Grey Mourner being an outsider. At some point, he and his followers embraced the infection to become stronger and were cast out from the Mantis village. The White Defender is the dream form of the Dung Defender, at the peak of his past glory. The Soul Tyrant is the dream variant of the Soul Master, faster and tougher than its physical counterpart. Markoth was the only moth to carry a weapon besides Thistlewind. He went to Kingdom's Edge to seclude himself and meditate, hoping to uncover a truth long forgotten. Markoth fought any who would threaten him, regardless of their reasons. He eventually died, his remains never to be found, in a lone cave of Kingdom's Edge. Zot the Mighty is a traveler from outside Helonest who came to the kingdom to fulfill a promise. This is ultimately revealed to be a promise of glory for himself. He named his nail Life Ender because names supposedly have power. Unfortunately, because it is made of shellwood, it cannot deal damage. While he claims to be the strongest warrior in the land, he is found trapped by weak enemies or claiming the glory of another bug's deeds. He regards the knight as beneath him and accuses him of constantly getting in his way. Grey Prince Zote is the stronger dream variant of Zote the Mighty, fueled by Bretta's fantasies of him. Pale Champion is the dream variant of the False Knight, faster and tougher than its physical counterpart. Nightmare King Grim is the dream form of Troopmaster Grim. The pure vessel are the prime version of the Hollow Knight, unaffected by the infection. They sit at the top of the Pantheon of the Knight. The Radiance is a higher being of light, similar to Essence, and as such, opposed to the Void, her ancient enemy. The Moth tribe is born from her light and in return revered her. From her prison, the Radiance, heart of the infection, plagues the dreams of bugs. She infects Mila, causing her to attack the Knight, and uses light seeds and infected flies to reanimate the broken vessel and the Watcher Knights. Absolute Radiance is the final boss of Godmaster in Hollow Knight. She is the perfect form of the Radiance, and sits at the peak of the Pantheon of Hallownest. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed the video, like, comment and subscribe. See you next time.